So first of all, good afternoon to everyone that has joining us today. So welcome, I'm Maira Genovese. I'm the founder and CMO of MG Empower, a global leading influencer marketing, empowering brands to go above and beyond. At MG Empower, our mission has always been to disrupt the existing models of marketing, building innovative marketing strategies to reach global audience and drive business results. In an ever-changing landscape, we develop cross-platform strategies with powerful storytelling that connects your brand with your target audience with the power of influencer voices. Power Up series today, so excited. This is our second edition online. So Power Up series is an event that was built to empower, share ideas, and contribute to the growth of creative excellence in the industry of influencer marketing. It's a place where we come together to collaborate and learn through a series of events. We intend to help your business to power up your marketing strategy, to grow your business, bringing together industry experts, digital talents to share their experience and also the best practice. In this episode, which I'm so delighted that we have an amazing panelist today, we're going to be discussing how live streaming content can power up business and how live streaming will continue to grow within the industry in the next years. So there is no secret, right, that the past month, consumers' behavior has changed completely. So e-commerce has boomed, going from $3.5 trillion in sales in 2019, and it's been forecast to reach $5 trillion this year. This is quite incredible, right? And live stream industry is expected to be valued $223 plus $billion by 2028. So that this shows us that live streaming is not just here for now, but it's here to stay for the big future ahead us. So as a digital influencer marketing agents, we have seen how the growth of e-commerce bringing with the amazing power and potential live stream content. This new form of content is enabling brands and content creators to transform their strategies and jump into innovation and growth paths. This enables them to serve the audience with outstanding experience and build strong long-term relationship with them, raising customer lifetime value. So today, to dive into this discussion, I have three amazing leading women in the industry who have experienced the power of live stream with their brands. So let me introduce you today to your panelists. First, we'd love to welcome you, Maeve. So Maeve is the brand activation director at L'Oréal France. She has over 10 years experience in marketing, and today she's leading the brand activations for Biotherm and Helena Rubinstein for the East Europe zone. She's driving the brands into live stream avenues to raise brand advocacy and generate authentic engagement from the audience by creating valuable, educational, and insightful content in this new immersive way that we are seeing with the live streaming. Second, I have here my dear friend. I think a lot of you knows that I have worked with Camila before. So I'm super excited to have Camila Coutinho here today, all the way from Brazil. So Cami is an entrepreneur, global influencer, and founder and CEO of G Beauty and Garotas Estúpidas. So Cami has an audience of over 2 million people on her platform Instagram. Camila has been recognized as Forbes 30 Under 30 and is today the founder and CEO of her own leading hair care brand. So last year, Cami has launched her brand, and as everyone that here knows Camila, she always think ahead of the game. She's very innovative, and she has launched her brand with a live streaming shopping, was the first brand to have curated the live streaming experience in Brazil. So she will talk to us all about that soon. And then I have the lovely Maeve Madden. Maeve, welcome. She's a fitness trainer, content creator, and live streamer. To the power of her Instagram lives, Maeve has led the transformation of personal brand Queens Don't Quit by strengthening the relationship with her audience through engaging and dynamic live streaming session, building a strong, authentic, and loyal community. So thank you so much for being here today. So I would love to start asking, how are you today?
Good. I was like, who's going to go first? Yeah, we're amazing. Really, really good. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Mahi, where are you now? In Paris?
Yes, all good here in Paris. It's sunny, it was snowing yesterday, so all good here. The world is crumbling, but we're still making a lot of business and just changing every day. So thank you for having me here.
Oh, more than welcome. Happy to have you today. And Cami, you are in Brazil. Where are you in Brazil right now?
Brazil. I am in Fernando de Noronha, an island here in close to Pernambuco, my home state. So I came for a few weeks and I'm staying here, working from here, doing everything from here. I'm good. Yes.
That's good. Everyone is healthy and safe. I think that's the most important thing right now, right? So we can still stay at home, but being healthy, I think, is what we need to be right now. So again, thank you so much. And I'm super excited to kick off our conversation and this webinar. And again, thank you so much for everyone that's here with us live today. So let's kick off with a question that I would love to get your thoughts and perspective over the growth and the potential content today for brands and creators in this industry. So would love to get your thoughts on that and how you see that live streaming is evolving and your general perspective on that. So Mahi, I will start with you.
Whoa, big question, very open one. Well, I think 1 year ago, we would not have seen that happening. And then the world has changed. And as you were saying, the e-com business has been going a bit crazy. And what happened for us, let's say, is that all the store closed at some point, and we had no more proximity to the consumer. And so we didn't know how to sell it. We didn't know how to talk to them anymore. Everybody was a bit afraid of what was happening. And, that's the moment where actually live streaming started making sense, because we had all those people at home trying to make a difference, trying to reach back, trying to get back proximity. And that's when it started for us, basically. And we saw it growing a lot because we had a lot of experts, let's say, on the market. And I'm thinking about our makeup artists. I'm thinking about all those people that used to sell on the floor that just didn't know how to do it anymore. And we wanted to give them a bit of, let's say, a platform to be able to express, but also to keep on going for the business and make things happen. And that's all how it started for us. And it was 1 year ago. Today, I think it's not even a question on how can you reach people anymore. How can you use actually the power you used to have as an expert, as a trustee person to talk to the people. So for us, live stream, to be honest, is just the beginning. We see it as social commerce, and that's how we call it, of course, through those easy platform and reaching proximity. But then we see so much potential. And we look at Asia. Of course, I work in Europe, but we look at Asia and we see that there almost half of the sales are done through those channels. And for Europe, it's still small. We're still testing and learning and getting, let's say, organized to get through this growth, but we see it's going to go very fast.
Amazing. And going to your point about China, so I can relate that question back to Camila. Camila has been in China, I think 2 years ago, right, Cami? And you saw that China was ahead of Europe and South America when it comes to live stream content, correct?
I think it's very natural when all the sales and everyone is thinking digital, from brands to consumers, especially even more and more after the pandemic. That's natural that people are there. When you go to a store, a physical store, there's a salesperson. So it's natural that when you're buying online and digital, there's a salesperson. And if it's an expert, and if it's someone you already love and trust, that's magical, way better. Do you understand? And also when content, for me, content and publicity is the same thing right now, same way of thinking and creating, because you have to like sell true stories and good stories through storytelling. So for me, the live stream shopping is to transform the shopping experience in content, in having fun. So I think this is why China is so ahead of the game, because everything's there is way more digital than in all the other places in the world. So it's very natural that they are ahead of the game in the live stream shopping, and that they are so used to that.
Amazing.
So,
And and to your like, I love your story because you always been doing live streaming, but last year when the pandemic started is when you actually starting creating your fitness training every day and live streaming from your Instagram. And I've been following you for a while because we worked together with Stars Place, remember last year at the very beginning. And since then I've been seeing how have you been growing within your program of fitness live streaming. Tell us a little bit, about how you started and how you're keeping it going in terms of creating innovation when it comes to your live streaming fitness classes.
So for me, it started last year with the lockdown situation where everyone was obviously at home, and I started live streaming these workouts. I think like one of the most important things when you're live streaming is that emotional connection that you have with people. So being like quite a big personality and showcasing what I was doing and capturing people was obviously like completely key. But when it came to like, business and the brand, I noticed that not only were people then engaging with me and my workouts, but obviously they were building, that emotional connection and that trust. And so I was able to then transform what I was doing through my workouts into like lifestyle selling as well. So the whole community then came together. And what we did was, after, giving our audience so much and giving it consistently, like every single day, and them like knowing, what was coming and kind of wanting more, and just, developing that relationship with them was really key then for us when we set up, a brand, like a subscription-based website, where then they would transform and subscribe to me and to the workouts. But it's not only the workouts that we've seen a difference in, it's like kind of like everything then that we are selling, and we're offering, because there is such trust there.
Amazing. And I love that you mentioned about the experience, right? Because at the end of the day, live streaming is all about creating an experience, right? To your audience, to your consumer. And because like live streaming, sometimes we say live streaming shopping, but we can do live streaming brand experience and the live streaming brand shop, live streaming thought leadership, live streaming product launch, which is like coming back to you now, because we're talking about what Maeve said about creating that experience, right? And then you have launched your own brand, your own hair care brand. And to launch that, you create an experience, right? So you launch it by creating an experience. So tell us about your idea and how was it? Like we're all very curious to know more.
Well, first of all, I love to do different things and to do things for the first time. I'm super like, this is my drive. So in the middle of the first lockdown in Brazil, I partnered with Americanas, which is Amazon in Brazil, is the biggest e-retail in Brazil. And we did this project together, the first shop live streaming in Brazil. So with them. And it was like a big school for me. I understood how that dynamic was, how I had to change. It was different than doing a simple live stream with my audience. I was just having to transform selling stuff in something fun. So before we launched GI Beauty, we launched 6 months ago, we were still in lockdown. So we had to figure out a way to launch in a different way, because I wouldn't be happy to do just something that everyone was doing. So I was like, okay, let's see if Americanas would like to launch in a super live stream shopping experience. So we did this in a bathroom, a beautiful bathroom. And we prepared the audience a few weeks before, saying that we would launch all the details in that event, online event. And I stayed there talking about discovering with the audience all the products, explaining each by each. And I had two convidados, how can I say that, Ma,
Yes,
in English?
yes.
Two guests with different types of hair to talk about their experience with the product. So people could buy online, and we had a few number of products to sell online. So people that joined the event were able to buy the products first, to discover the line first, and also to buy the products first for 24 hours. So that was super exciting, because in the end, it's what I said before, it's very special and priceless to have something sold by your, like, an specialist, the person who created the brand, and people that you like, and they are there hearing you, talking to you, explaining to you. So I think that connection is priceless on live stream shop.
Amazing. And yes, I follow when Camila launched her brand in Brazil, and it was incredible to see how her audience were engaging with the launch and buying the product straight away from the live. So I truly believe that live streaming can also humanize brands, right? So getting it more human. And Mahi, have you experienced and done any live streaming shopping with the products that you led at L'Oreal?
Yeah, actually, we've done it. And I love the story of Camila and Maeve, because, you know, at the end of the day, what you hear is that there's a brand love that comes from live streaming, and the consumer, they comes even more for, I'm sorry to call you brands, but for the values that you carry and the trust that they have within you. And to be honest, at L'Oreal, that's something we have as well. And we do social selling with our products, but on the same side, I think there's something with live stream, which is very important, which is how you create this brand love on long term. How do you really create, let's say, this expertise? How can you educate the consumer around the values of your brands? And for example, one of the brands I work for is all about, we come from water, we need to give back. And it gives another dimension, because it's beyond products sometimes. And I think that's also very important in live streaming, because consumer, they're asking a lot of questions, especially with this time where everything is digital. You can Google anything, everything. You need to be super transparent. And then sometimes you don't want to do, for us, no greenwashing, but just be able to engage with consumers. And I think that's the thing that Maeve and Camila managed to do directly, because this is within what they do. For us as brands, it's still things that we're learning every day, and really opening up those doors and being able to find the right tone of voice with consumers around other topics that goes beyond products. That's what's really we are building for the moment. And I think that's what was very interesting about what you said, Maeve and Camila. But yes, indeed, social selling is a part of it, but I think there's also a big part, which is that brand.
And I think, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
There's something very special on telling the truth. So once you're there, like actually selling, like, hi guys, this is me selling this for you. This is good because this, and this, and I use this like this. And you are like selling. You're not like pretending you're telling a story to sell in the end. So people like the truth. And once you're there, like, the only reason you are there is to sell this thing to her. And if she wants to buy, fine. If she doesn't, okay. So I think there's something very straight to the point about shop streaming that I love. Like, it's very straight to the point.
I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then you're connecting with your audience in another level, right? Because it's like Maeve being there, you know, it's her doing her classes, her telling how she takes her day to day when it comes to her healthy, and how she wanted to pass her experience to her consumers through the live streaming. So if people are following, engaging with that, is because they genuine are getting, you know, like not just believing in her, but feel that there's a connection for what she's saying. And then from there, she's creating her community. And then when you create your community, you have that loyalty, right, from your audience, and they're always going to be there to support and to engage with the content that you're creating in live. And I think like it does really humanize not just brands, but like influencers like Maeve and Camila. So we have been seeing like big platforms like Google, Amazon, Facebook, TikTok, they're all implementing in their business model new features for live streaming, right? So because when we started, it was kind of like last year, the beginning of the pandemic, we would see live streaming more happening on Instagram or YouTube. But then now the possibilities of live streaming in different social channels are huge. And like even like Amazon, which I think is incredible. So you can actually do live streaming through Amazon, through your Amazon and account. So Mahi and Maeve, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on like how you're approaching your strategy when you have to, because I know Maeve, you're very focused on Instagram and YouTube for live streaming, right? And Mahi, wanted to know more about how you're approaching your strategy, because now it's just so many opportunities for you to engage with different audience, right? Because the audience of TikTok is not the same audience of Instagram and is not the same audience of YouTube. But how you as a creator and you as a brand can plan your strategy of live streaming across all these, you know, new platforms that are available for live streaming.
Yeah, it's exhausting. First off, it's exhausting. There's a lot to do. But you know what? I think it's really important to have eyes everywhere. And I actually had a meeting with my team just before we came on here, and we were talking about we like to call it QDQ for short. So we don't have QDQ on TikTok yet. That's something that we're going into like in the next week. And the ways that we can share the content, you know, and it's that ability to hit the consumer in real time and capture your audience with that social interaction that's so important. Because for us and my community, it is online social interaction. So it's making friends within the community. And like I even see like one of the girls is on here watching, she's called Beth, who's hilarious, you know, and she and that's really important because it becomes so personal. And for us, it's about, yes, it's expanding, but still keeping it personal, but expanding through these different platforms. And, you know, even if we go on to TikTok and we don't engage with a massive audience, even if I engage with 100 people, you know, live on there, it's still engaging with an audience. So it doesn't matter if 10 people watch that, or like if you're a small business, or, you know, if, you know, 1,000 people or 2,000 people, like eventually you will start growing. People will start talking about it. More people will join in. And I think that's really important because your message is still getting across.
But do you feel pressure to be in all those platforms, or like, because you said, oh, it's exhausted, but is that you feel like, oh my God, now I have to be everywhere in every platform, or no? Or like how to build community in other channels? And as you said, I love that you said, if we're starting a new platform, it's normal that you're going to have 10, 15, 20 until you build it up, right?
And what's really important, I think, for brands to know is that it's better to almost work with someone who has, it's better to work with someone who has like 100 people that are loyal and trust that person and will believe what they say. Because for me, like Camila said earlier, honesty is completely key. Like even on a Friday, I do this streaming where I talk, I call it beauty bullshit. Sorry for the word. But I speak about loads of different brands, and they ask me to try a brand, and I try it and I give it a rating and I give my complete honest opinion on that. And that's so important. So for brands to know that, like, maybe I'll have 100 people really engaged and I say, this product is amazing, you should buy this. Because I honestly, do, and my following believe me, compared to, you know, someone with 1 million followers who has like 0 engagement and nobody really cares what they say. So it's like, you know, there is like a huge difference there. And I think brands will start to realize that, the importance of, one, being completely honest on socials like myself and Camila are, and to, you know, developing that relationship with your audience through live stream.
And Mahi, taking the link of Maeve said, because like she said about, you know, creating the authenticity, being very honest with your audience and honest with the brands. So linking into that, so your strategy to approach live streaming, right? Because there's so many platforms, as I said. And how do you link your strategy with the creators like Camila and Maeve? So what the role that are playing on your live streaming strategy?
Actually, well, I definitely agree with what Maeve was saying. The most important part already is the engagement that you have with your community. And that's why we go to you guys to ask you, how can we work together? So the first thing we will look at is really the engagement that the influencer would have with the community, and really finding the right partners. And after, when you're saying, when we talk about platforms, to be honest, today we are looking at finding the right partners on the right platform. You don't need to spread everywhere. You need to redo the things right where you are really good at. And then after, of course, you can expand if you feel that you have the need to, but each platform has really a tone of voice, which is very different. If I talk about TikTok and Instagram, this is so different that I understand that you cannot change as a person. So if there are things that don't match with what you're doing today, it's okay to not be on everything. It's just be really good at where you are. And then as a brand, to be honest, today, if I can give an advice to anyone, and that's what we say to the countries which I work with, is just test and learn. I mean, you will never know. Find the right partners in your countries, the right influencers, they have the right tone of voice with what we want to convey as a message, and then go for it, try it, do it a couple of times, because you cannot say you failed once. You need to do it 2 or 3 times, take the learnings. I mean, hopefully it's the same from the influencer side. I mean, it's a business, so we just want to grow together, and that's how you do it. But we will need to try on Amazon whenever, if ever we open this distribution, or we will try on TikTok as well. But we have to feel secure with the partners we have, and then with the tone of voice and the message. You know, it's also what is the message we want to give. If it's just selling, of course we can do it, but will the audience react to this? Do we have the right products to go in there as well? You know, we have to take all of this into account.
I know Camila will love that, because she's knowing her, she's always used to say to me, and then also when we talk, like, we don't need to be everywhere. So Kabi, I wanted to hear your perspective on what Mahi said, that it's not because there's so many, you know, like social channels and possibilities that we need to be everywhere.
First of all, I think I would like to say that we're still going to be in the boom of shop streaming, because I feel that, I don't know if you feel the same way, Maeve and Mahi, but we still don't have a platform that's popular and that gives you enough tools for us as influencers to do a shop stream live by ourselves. So we still need the big platform money to spend to have the structure to do it. So once we have the platform and the tool that, like in China, anyone can do it. A guy from the countryside selling his own mangoes can do it. This is going to be the boom of a shop streaming. So still not happening. But as for being in all the platforms, I agree with you, Maeve. We don't have to be in all platforms. I'm in peace with that decision, but I still go at all the new platforms to check what's going on there to make my decision. I'm not going to be there because I don't take these decisions without going there to look and to know why I am not going to be there. I think this is to close our eyes, and it's not good to ignore. We have to check and decide, but we don't have, like, it's very hard to do like specific content to each platform. So I think it's very wise to choose the best ones for our goals and then to stick there and to like dedicate time. And I think that's it.
No, and it is so true. And I love when we're discussing with our clients on the strategy for live streaming, we always say is that the testing learning is the starting point for everything, right? Because we cannot create the expectation that we're gonna do a live streaming, and then goes back to what Maeve said, that if we're doing a live streaming, we need to first, it's a test. It can be 10 people there, it can be 100 people, but it doesn't really matter, because it's all about let's test, learning, and see how the audience that will be joining that live streaming will react to what you are trying to say, to sell, how they will engage. And then you get the learnings from there, and then you build it up your next strategy, understand if that the channel that you have created the live streaming is the right channel, or if you have to test another one without the pressure of, oh my God, now is TikTok, is YouTube, is Amazon. We need to create a strategy to be like all of the place. But I think it's more like really understand your product, understand your audience, and how to build up your strategy around there to test and learn.
There's one thing, Ma, that I've learned through my experience is that to choose the right influencers is very important for credibility, and they have to match your brand. But if the brand doesn't offer good advantage, good discounts, good freebies as for shop streaming lives, it's not the influencer alone that's going to make these lives, shop streaming live, a success. It's the combination. So in China, there's a lot of live streaming with people that are unknown, and that they have so many advantage that is like super successful. So I think it's a combination of things that make this live experience shopping a success in terms of selling. So
and I like that point, and then I will reflect back to you, Mahi, as being here on the brand side. What Camila said about that, when you're doing a live streaming, if it's like an experience or as a shopping live streaming, that you have to have a kind of like promotion, discount, something to elevate it and to engage the audience and to stay on your live. Because I think this is the biggest challenge, right? And even like for Maeve that does every day live streaming, is like how to keep your audience there the whole time, right? This is the most challenge, because you wanted to do the live and you wanted to keep your audience from the beginning to the end. So Mahi, when you're doing your live streaming, are you attaching a product discount, or like any like free shipment? How are you approaching that on that sense?
Well, we definitely believe that generosity should be part of it, and we go see influencers because they have communities, and I think they also want to give things to their community. So that's really how it works. And that's the way we approach it as well, because we know that we want to get this exclusivity moment. And as well, in the way that we want to entertain, I think it's very important that at the end of the day, you still get something from watching this, even though you're learning things. As a brand, we need to be generous. That's how the market works. That's what is expected, as Camila was saying. And here for us, it's just a matter of, let's say, rewarding the people that will take the time to spend with us. So it's definitely normal, and it's part of our strategy. And even afterwards, because we need to retarget afterwards again, newsletters, DMs, however way, because you have a community and you need to talk to them even longer, because it's not because you did live streaming and they didn't buy right away, then you didn't create a moment where they're considering buying, and it's that moment where you have to keep them again. And it can be a week, it can be that afterwards she will see another live streaming, and then it will be, I don't know, the best gift she wanted that at that time, and she will purchase. But we really have to think long term as well. And I know it's very complicated for brands like us to understand that it's normal conversion rate is not supposed to go like this directly, but that's something we definitely understand. And that's why I was saying test and learn, but it's not because after once it didn't work that it won't work. So
and Maeve, like into that point, because like how do you engage your audience to stay with you through the whole time when you're doing your fitness class? Is there any secret, or no, it's not secret, it's just because, you know, they are engaged naturally with you? Because I can see that your audience, they stay with you
Yeah.
of the whole class, which is amazing. We don't see that drop when your live is, of course we see, but it's not that drop they say, wow, that's half of her audience didn't stay into the end. I always feel very amazed by, you know, how your audience is there the whole time with you.
They're just so loyal. But no, it's also, like I said before, it's very, you know, it's very personal and it's very consistent, and we let them know, you know, what's coming, what to expect. So they know when they come onto my live what they're going to get. And I think, you know, I think that's really helpful, but I also listen to what they want. So it's very more important for me to ask questions and to really listen to my audience, because at the end of the day, you know, I'm providing them with a service, whether it's, you know, free content or paid content. And that for me is like key. Like I want to give my audience the very best experience. And, you know, if I saw them dropping off, or, you know, that not as many people were engaging, then I'm going to ask questions. Why? What else do they want to see? And I think, you know, it's just constantly changing things up and really listening to them and giving them what they want.
And then I love that what you said about listening to your audience, because I think social listening nowadays, it's so important. And Cami, I know that to creating your brand, Jet Beauty, you have listening a lot before deciding what product you would launch. So like just making that link of like listening to your audience, tell us a little bit of the story about, you know, how listening to your audience, you come with the idea of creating your own brand.
I think we have to listen to people in life. Like we have to pay attention and to realize that there's tons of other people experience and points of view around us. So from this point, it's very special and rich. And I think empathy and social listening is an actual skill. It's good for us, but it's also a working skill. So for G Beauty, for those who don't know the brand, it's 7 SKU, 7 products that can be mixed and customized, and they can have amazing results from straight hair to a super curly hair. So you can customize and get all different results from 7 products. And starting from there, I listen to plenty of people, because I only have this kind of hair, this skin color. So it's impossible for me to have experience and to know what all different kinds of hair need. So we had tons of groups to say they need, to tell us their needs, they, how can I say, what the ingredients that they wanted to have in the products. So it was very special 2-year process to build the brand and to, in the end, have this amazing 7 products line that can give so many different results to so many different people. So it's a very special journey. And especially in Brazil, that we have so many different kinds of hair and all of them are beautiful. So I think all of them deserve amazing result products.
Amazing. And Mahi, do you, when you come up with your like strategy, especially now that we're talking about live streaming, right? So do you tend to do like a social listening? So how do you incorporate it, like live streaming with social listening and finding the right influencer, the right voice for that strategy? Because I think this is super important. So we at Imaging Power, we truly believe that we have to be disrupted, right? We have to think above and beyond when it comes to a marketing strategy and how to innovate it in a landscape of digital that's changed so quickly and all the time. But I feel like to have a strategy is equally important to understand who will be implementing your strategy, right? Who will be the voice that will be, you know, telling your story. So how do you combine the strategy of live streaming with the social listening and in finding the right voices?
Whoa, good question. Well, actually, we do all of, to be honest, we do all of this. The first thing is that we have to understand who the audience is and who we want to reach with which product, and then from there, this is how we do all the studies and the social listening and plus other tools we have to understand who is influencing those people and who actually are the people that they trust and will give them this extra. So that's how actually we find the right partners and influencers to talk about product. And next to that, we do a lot of social listening to understand what the consumer is asking for. Really, what for our products, what they don't understand, or what in general for the category in the market they're looking for. Is it about ingredients? Is it about how to use those products or those kind of things? And for us, this is how we start creating content, because we have a lot of data throughout the internet. That's amazing because everybody's leaving a trace, asking questions to Google, those kind of things is really helping us to shape, let's say, the strategy afterwards, and to say, okay, tomorrow we really need to work on, I don't know, we sell creams, so it would be anti-aging creams. The people we target, asking those kind of questions, what can we give as answers? And then just finding the right people to help us give this message as well. And it's not about bullshitting or really selling products. At the end of the day, it's just answering those questions and having the right experts. And sometimes also coupling our experts with the influencers, you know, to open discussions, because, you know, you can Google everything, but most of the time you end up thinking you're gonna die with something, or that's true, I do that all the time. Or you can just, you know, have expert people you trust and have those discussions and just be very transparent about it. And this is how we build up our strategies. We listen, as Camila was saying, and then we try to shape the content, finding the right people thanks to all the tools we have, and voila.
Amazing. I have two questions here from our audience. Let me just get in Andrea here to support me. So first question is from Lona. Thank you, Lona, for joining us today. So Lona is asking, just wonder whether you would suggest corporate companies go live, and if so, how you would go about it. It's corporate company, so she's just like, probably Lona works for a very corporate brand, and then the question is just like, if she has to go live to create a live strategy, what would be the best approach for corporate business to go on a live?
She would need to understand what her objective is by doing this. I think it's the first thing. Why do you want to go live streaming? Is it that you need to reach new audiences that you don't reach today, and then understand what they're looking for and if it makes sense? You know, it's not about just live streaming because of live streaming. It's more having a business objective behind it, and then if it makes sense, understand what they're looking for, and from there finding the right people to do it. Is it the company itself? Is it through partners? Is it combinations? I think first of all, you have to have that in mind.
No, absolutely. I think first I would say objectives to start with, as Mahi said, and also for corporate companies, there is so many like possibilities for you to create, you know, a live experience. We are talking about live thought leadership, right? So if you're corporate, so you not necessarily need to go for live shopping or live experience, but you can create a live thought leadership where you can have your CEO, your CMO. They can be on LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is a great social channel for corporate business. And now LinkedIn is also has the tool to create live content in there. But I think I would suggest understanding your objectives, why your company would like to jump into a strategy that has live streaming. And then from there, building up a strategy to achieve your ending goal, your objectives. But yes, there's a lot of possibilities for corporate companies, but we have to start from the early stage, understand why, and then from the why you can build your strategy. That would be my my recommendation. So I just like this, we're running like, I just saw the time here is 10 to 5. I was like, oh my God, we have so much to talk yet, and it's already 50 minutes. So I just like, because it's so incredible, like how they, Facebook and TikTok and Tweet and now even Google, they are all, as I said, introducing new tools for creators to monetize content, right? Because first we're talking about live streaming, that there's a lot of social channels that you can create live experience. But at the same time, there's a lot of channels that you can actually monetize your content through live streaming experience. These for creators and these for brands. So how do you, as influencers and brands, are jumping into this new economy of monetize, right? Because they're two separate things. One is I'm creating the experience, but another one is like, wow, I'm having opportunity here to actually monetize. So how do you think the marketing industry will be transformed through this new way of making more revenue? Let's put this way. So I can go first with Maeve.
I was like thinking, I was like, don't pick me. I don't want to go first, but here I am. It's really funny because the more that I grow, and the more that I'm kind of, I'm live streaming, and that my audience is growing and growing with my own business, the less time I actually have to work with other brands. And for me, it's kind of like a win-win situation, because I know that my audience are really engaged. The content and the live streams that I do are with purpose and with education, and and so social, that when it does come to working with brands, one that I the brands that I work with are, the brands that I trust, the brands that I enjoy. And, I reach out to a lot of brands personally as well, because it's what my audience wants. So for me, I'll even, like we said about constantly listening to your audience, I'll say, oh, I love wearing, say, this sweater. And they'll be like, oh, we'd love to do that. Like, can you promote that in any way? Almost like, can you offer us a discount? Things like that. And so that is, that's really important for me. And, I just think that kind of like the more that my business grows and the more that we do this, the more value that we'll be able to bring to the audience. And that's what's really important for us.
Amazing. And Camila, just like what Maeve said, that as more she grows and her audience grows, more interest she has from the brands, right? Because the brands wanted to collaborating with her because they see that she has that honest, that loyalty with her audience, and then she's being authentic. And going to you, Camila, because now you're launching your own brand, right? And you did this live streaming shopping to launch your products, but this didn't stop you of working with other brands. And recently you did the live shop streaming with Lancome, right? And I thought that was amazing because you did your own live streaming with your own products. And then now you have done one to sell Lancome. So probably, this is my guessing, right? So Lancome has saw your potential of not just being an influencer, creating a content to post on your feed, on your story, but also saw potential of you selling live. And so tell us like a little bit about that. Having your own brand, it does not stop you to support brands that you trust and has sharing the same values and purpose to create live streaming experience.
First of all, I think in this case of this new product that's live streaming, in the end, for this, it's always about selling something. Either it's a product, a service, or entertainment. If I have to think of what you're selling as a product. And as for doing live stream for my own brand and to other brands, I think this is one of the best advantage of digital native brands is to disrupt concepts, because people like a few years ago would think, okay, if you have a contract with a hair care brand, you're not going to be able to talk about any other product, hair care product. And I don't think this way, because us as real people, we use a lot of brands in our daily like routine. So I have a line, but I also use hairspray from other brands that I still don't have in my line. I use gel, I use different kinds of products. So the brands still see me as a person that can talk about their brand. So it was very special for me to do the Lancome shop streaming live. It was almost like a TV show, huge, like different scenarios, different people doing like demonstration of the products and everything. And I think for me, it's very good that they saw this potential, because I really, when I started the project with Americanas and with my own brand, J Beauty, I really dived in. I studied about the difference of how was the best way of selling, doing that. And I think they recognized and they saw me in me this expertise. So I was very happy to do this project with them also. But yeah.
And Mahi, into your perspective about that, about like working with influencers through live streaming strategy, that they are working with other brands, but how do you see that? Because that's just an example of Camila like having her own brand, but also collaborating with other brands. So how do you see that when it come up to your, ideas of bringing voices to your strategy?
Well, I think honestly, when I'm talking about influencer, I see more partners. And I think that's how you would see them as well, as experts, having communities, people trusting them, bringing this proximity. And to be honest, that's why brand exclusivity, it's not a thing anymore. I think back in the days, that's how we would see it. But that's true. Even my bathroom, I can tell you, I'm a L'Oreal person, but I have so many other brands because that's how life is. And you are expert of a lot of things, and you can love many things in life, and that's how it goes as a person. And that's why we want to partner up with influencers, because they have this and the community knows them, and they can trust them into, if they choose to work with us, that it will be the right choice. So that's really how we see it today. And at the end of the day, it's a service that they're offering. I mean, it's a job. Being an influencer, it's a day-to-day job. It's not just that they're doing this on the side. When you see how Maeve and Camila today are really founders of their own company, it's a real job, and it's no more that you monetize it. I mean, you wouldn't do everything for free just for fun. At some point, same for me. I'm selling a lot of products. It's my job, and it's part of what I do. And I think it's normal that that's how we work. We would do it even if it was not digital. I would have a makeup artist every day. I would pay her. That's her job to sell. So, it's just a normal way of doing it. It's more because I think influence before was seen as something maybe less professional, that we still have those kind of ideas. But today it's definitely something which is holy. And I was saying, it's really partnership that we are building together. So.
Totally agree. And also not just the partnership, just finding the talent that share the same values, right? That your brand, I think it's so important. The values that share the same purpose of your brand, because people, they will connect it with your brand and will connect it with the influencer. But that value element and purpose, it's so important nowadays, right? Mahi, describe social commerce for the audience. What social commerce will play a big role, especially for brands like from L'Oreal? So let's type into social commerce quickly before we wrap up.
Well, I think e-com will keep on growing very fast, and that's the way we will sell tomorrow. You still need advices. Camila was saying it. You used to buy offline, you would have a salesperson explaining you everything and give you the services. It will go even further online because you have all the information, and now we have to give even more experience and entertainment. So it will grow faster for sure.
Amazing. Camila and Maeve, now you. So what's the future of live streaming on your perspective? And if you should or could give an advice for brands how to work with talents when it comes to live streaming, what would be your advice?
I think a lot, and not to say like almost all, in a few years of our shopping is going to be concentrating in search. Like we're going to be buying so much on the online, and first tool that we use is Google. What's the best curling iron? And then first you're going to get the brand sponsored results, and after me and Maeve telling you what curling iron to buy, like content. So if you already follow Maeve and you see Maeve saying that curling iron is amazing, oh my God, all that combined, bingo. So I see a bright future for all of us, influencers and brands, collaborating through content, through real like connection from our values. And I think both ways are very necessary. Brands checking if the influencers have the same values, and influencers checking if the brands have the same values, because it's a marriage. If it's not like for real, it's not worth. And this I know from my experience. Sorry, this noise. It's ice. This I know from my experience, that I gave like 2 or 3 no's this year that were very good for me, because those no's, like sorry, we cannot work together now, gave me so much more after, because it just made my people see my values even better, because of the brands that I weren't connected with. So I think to be real, to be honest, and to the right marriage is the best kickoff for any partnership between influencers and brands.
I think that we've seen like the conversion rates for live demo and live streaming on products, and not only products, but like services. Like I provide a service, like, you know, it's just huge in comparison to pre-record or like staged. Like there's such a difference. Even myself as a, you know, as a consumer buying into a product, when I see like the stage pre-record compared to like the live stream, which is so engaging. Like I think with brands finding those influencers, like there's such a difference now in comparison to like the influencer before that set up the pretty picture that engaged someone, to the influencer now who has to use their self, their personality to capture an audience. And I think we'll see a huge change in the growth of those influencers over, you know, over the coming year. Well, I think really soon, like you said, like within the next 2 to 3 years, like that's going to be massive. But I also think like, you know, selling through live stream, and then brands finding those influencers that work really well, who are really strong and really engaging and work well, you know, and collaborate well together, is going to be huge. And I think also as an influencer who live streams all the time, whose audience is very engaged, you know, you just know what your audience will buy into, and you want to share that with them, because you never want to lose that trust. You don't want to work with a brand, you know, that could cause, like, you know, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of effort, like live streaming all the time, and this is your whole entire life. You know, you never want to lose that with your audience. And I think, you know, my audience is so important to me, and you kind of look after that and what you've created, because it's like gold. Like, you know, you want to hold on to that. And so working with brands, and I think brands will know that, and so, you know, the brand will find the right influencer for them.
Wonderful. I have a few questions, but I think I'm just going to be able to do one more question here from Lucy Blake. She's saying, with sales, how often do we go live? Can we live too much or too little? Maybe Marie, probably sales is more related to products. So what would be your advice in there?
Oof. Can we sell too much? Can we live too much, too little? I say you need to try it first and see how it goes. To be honest, that it depends on the product. It depends on your influencers. It depends on a lot of things. So you have to try it, and then you will see if you catch the right audience at that time, because anyway, your influencer will know when they have the most people there. And then if it doesn't work at that time, try another time. But it really depends on the algorithm of your influencer and who you're working with. So that's what I would say. Yeah, go ahead, Camila.
Sorry, I think it also depends on the category of the brand and the type of the product. If you are a luxury brand, I think for me, it's better if you do like once in a semester, a huge live with good advantage, like very well done structure. And if you are more popular, you can do like once a week and give a lot of advantage and give discount. I think you have to see the category of the brand and if it matches the way you do it.
I think this is a great takeaway that we're taking here about the testing learning, right? Because live streaming is such a new way of selling a product, it's a new way of launching a product, it's a new way of creating experience. And I think what we have been talking a lot about today is just the important thing is to test and learn. Because if we don't test, we're not going to get the insights, we're not going to get the learnings, we're not going to really understand what the audience is expecting for your live streaming shopping or live streaming thought leadership. And a lot of brands, I feel as a agency that sometimes they take too much time to engaging into this innovative path of where we're going with digital. But I think it's we have to go for that, right? We have to test. And of course, there has to be a strategy behind, understand your objectives, understand what you're trying to achieve with that creation of a live streaming, but not being afraid of trying, right? Because this is the future, I wouldn't even say that's the future, this is the now, right? And then the future is with all the insights that we have been seeing and you know, all the numbers of the growth of the industry of live streaming in the next 3 years just show that live streaming is here to stay. And the best way of creating your strategy is to test, learning, and not be afraid of testing one platform first, and if not that platform, go for the next one, but really trying to see where is your audience and see how they expected you as a brand or you as an influencer to create authentic, honest, and trustworthy live streaming content. So there's so many questions that's coming in, but sadly, we won't be able to read all the questions. But what I can do for everyone that is sending the questions, I can send them via email to Maeve, Camila, Mahi, get them to answer your questions, and then we can feedback to you by email. Because we've been talking so much, there's already 5, so we won't have time to go through all the questions. Oh, okay, Andrea is here saying that we can also answer through social media. So if you wanted to go to Instagram of Camila, Maeve, and Mahi, you can just get them to ask your question, reply your question directly from their social accounts. So first of all, thank you so much, Mahi, Maeve, and Camila, for taking the time to be here today with us on our second edition of the Power Up series online. It's been a pleasure to have you. And then I think we could stay here for, you know, like longer, because this, I think, is a subject that we love to talk about it. So thank you so much. Really appreciate the time that you took to be here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Yeah, so Camila podcast with marketing with our MG Power. It's live tomorrow, our influencer marketing uncover. So please, it's amazing. It's longer than we normally do podcasts. Normally we do 25 minutes, but with Camila, we have 45 minutes of a great conversation. It's live tomorrow, so looking forward to see all signing up on our YouTube to check that out. So as today, for everyone that joined us, you will be receiving on your email our latest white paper edition that is all about live streaming. So the white paper edition name is The New Path to Innovation and Business Growth: How to Use the Power of Live Streaming Content to Transform Your Marketing Strategy. So this will be all that this white paper. We will find a lot of information about live streaming, how to create our strategy on live streaming for B2B, for B2C, great case studies on our white paper, including the case study of Gea Beauty, how Camila launched her brand in Brazil to live streaming. So amazing content. So everyone will be receiving that today, as well as the record of our webinar today for people that didn't have the time to stay until the end or didn't have the time to join us. So you're gonna receive a recording of our conversation here. And again, thank you, Maeve, Camila, thank you for everyone that stayed here with us. And remember to follow us on our social accounts, following the girls as well. So we will be sharing their social media accounts. And it's been a pleasure. I think Camila is gonna, let's all do it self. Yeah. Mahi, where's your phone?
Oh my God. Okay.
Let's get it here. Yay. Amazing. Thank you so much. Like amazing conversation. I'm very kind of like grateful for your time, and we will catch up soon. Thank you so much. Beijos. Beijos to Brazil, to Paris, and Maeve, you're here in London. Hopefully we will be able to meet soon in person. Fingers crossed.
I know, hopefully next week.
Yes, amazing, exciting. Thank you so much for everyone that has joined us today.
Bye.
Big kiss.